Last week, we began to discuss the idea of secular culture, and we brought the machlokis between Reb Shimon bar Yochai and Reb Yehuda. Reb Shimon bar Yochai, Reb Yehuda is the one that holds that one is permitted to appreciate and praise secular culture. In those days, it was Roman culture, and he lets Reb Shimon bar Yochai know about it. And Reb Shimon bar Yochai, on the other hand, felt that we have to take a look on a deeper level, look what's behind, what's the agenda of the secular culture. And in some cases, we can find that it is antithetical to our Judaism, to our Torah values. Rav Soloveitchik points out that sometimes the non-Jewish culture can actually be very problematic and have an agenda that what he calls hitarderut, hamusar, and achzoriyut, which we mean is a degenerate behavior or cruelty. He gives the example of music, for instance, which music is very much part of our culture, and it's something that we appreciate very much in the Western world. And he says that the Germans, the Nazis, Yamach Shmo, used music, which Germany was really the bastion. It was really the cradle of modern culture, and music like classical music, for instance, was very much part and very important in their culture. And what they used it for, the Nazis, was to accompany the Jewish people to the gas chambers, lo aleinu. The works of Beethoven, Schubert, Rav Soloveitchik says, were the tunes that drowned out the Jewish cries. So here's a case where we have secular culture, and as if they're on this level of a cultured person, and yet what we find is that these people are really just using the culture to hide, to disguise their cruelty. Germany, at the same time as being a very cultured nation, proved that you can be just as cruel as you can be cultured. My father, Zichronu Livracha, used to like to tell a story. I heard it from him a number of times about two professors that were doing research. They were from a prestigious university. I assume the story is more like a parable, but he said that there were two professors from a prestigious university in the early 20th century that went to deepest, darkest Africa to actually do some sort of research on cannibalism. And they prepared themselves, and they studied the different tribes, and they went to Africa to do the research. They met with the leaders of the different cannibal groups that were man-eaters, and of course they took along as much safety as they could, and they studied these people. They told them they want to study them for a number of months. After those months passed, one of the professors who decided to go back asked the other one to go back with him, and he said, you know what, I'd like to stay around and do some more research. So one of the professors went back, and the other one never showed up. He became very concerned after a number of months, and he decided to go back to these tribes in order to see what happened to his friend. Maybe his friend was actually used one night for dinner. And he went back, certainly with many guards, and he finds something very surprising and striking. His friend actually had become the head of one of the tribes. And he said to his friend, like, what's going on over here? You know, we came to do research, but for you to become head of a man-eating tribe is outrageous. And the friend said, look, since I got here and became head of the tribe, when we eat men, right now we eat men and women, when we cook them and then eat them, we generally use forks and knives. So we've become much more advanced in the culture of eating the men and women. So my father used to say, yes, we are very, very cultured today, right? But the question is, are we eating people, but being very cultured by eating them with forks and knives on a different, on a cultured, level? And this is something that we have to be very careful about, is when we do take secular culture, like Rabbi Shurin said, let's take a look at what's the agenda behind this culture.